what do we have today? What do we have today?
So guys, you are welcome to another episode of the virtual podcast. We're still on the theme surviving African parents. We have like 11 entries today.
But it's a lot, and
It's a
I
lot.
yeah, I've gone through some of it, and I must say they came prepared. Actually,
I know, right?
yeah, they came prepared, so that's good. That's good.
Well, well. This race for 40K is quite serious.
Economy is
I really
hard.
wish you guys the best. I really wish you guys the best. But out of 11 entries today, we are going to pick two finalists. So that means it's going to be a really, really tough one. And we're going to try our best to be very fair on everybody. So, yeah. So without wasting
Then
much
what
time,
do we
let's get
start
right
with?
into it. Which particular poem do we start with?
Um. Okay, so let me start.
Okay.
In terms of tough love, are you on it?
Hmm.
I think I'm there.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm there.
start that fresh because I realized that I didn't really well. Okay, but yeah. The love you give, both sweet and sour, in your eyes, a pat on the back, but to me, a slam to the ground. You place me on a bed of roses with its thorns attached. I know it eludes your intention, but it still hurts. The love you give, the tough love, has made me tough indeed. You cannot give what you don't have. Was this the love you received? But I see your heart. I see it sincerely, and that is enough for me. This
Hmm.
poem is from a B Egberry Emmy. I'm so sorry if I murdered your name, but Emmy, let's just call this person Emmy. So this poem is from Emmy. So what do you have to say about this?
Sons of Tough Love. Interesting. Emmy, this is a nice poem. This is a nice poem. I love to start with, I love the fact that you punctuated. Let me just put that out there. You punctuated really good, which is something I don't think I'll ever stop talking about. I think the last episode I tried not to talk about it so much, but it's still reflected in how we judged the poems. So yeah, this is a nice poem, good punctuation. If I'm going to score you overall, I will give you a 7.
Okay. As you said, I love that it was simple and direct. Like you get what the
Yeah.
person is trying to say, punctuated as well. So but I'll do 6. I'll do 6 for this.
Hmm. Interesting.
What?
Why 6 though?
Um, no wow factor for me. It's good, it's
Hmm.
there. So yeah, so no wow factor for me.
Okay, okay. Well, Amy, I don't know what you did to me today. I don't know if you're a man or a woman, but I think you prayed well this morning. Getting a 7 from me for the first poem for today is a miracle, actually. But I wish you all the best. All the best. Let's hope that you survive this this countdown. All right. So I'm going to go to the next poem. This particular poem has 2 pages. All right, which
Okay.
is uh, interesting. This is from Ukis. Is it Vicky's or Ukis? I don't know if it's a U or a V. What do you think
It's
it is? Is it a Vicky's or Vicky's? All
uh,
right, all right. So I'm gonna read now. Surviving an African parent. Early hours of the morn, deep down my dreamy state, my name echoing. It is not dawn yet. I should rest, I thought. Not daybreak. My sleep must go on. Wake up. Your chores await. Alas, it was a dream after all, with a stern look on her face. Mother stands before me, not a moment of delay. Beatings I must avoid. A routine that doesn't get used to. The pattern that has become a lifestyle. Other aspect I must endure and learn. For a single parent she is, and a strong hand she administers. A girl child doesn't sit this way, she scolds. Dishes are served in this manner, she advised. A journal cannot contain all, nor the pages of the whole earth books be enough. As sour as the lemon were her training, but with a grateful heart I recall words that built a perfect me. Upon recall, I do winch as if yesterday mama's lashes on my back. Hmm.
That is just I
Okay.
have. Especially the last part though, I don't know. The upon recall I do winch as if yesterday mama's lashes on my back.
Um,
I
yeah.
don't know. Can you make that make sense? Because it doesn't make
I I feel like there's a word missing somewhere. Or
but
maybe we don't understand what VKs is trying to do here. I don't get it.
but what do you think about this?
Hmm. To be very honest, yeah, reading through the poem, uh, I don't know. It doesn't quite. Okay, so let me be very, very honest, right? The
Mm-hmm.
first poem, I loved it because it was simple and straightforward.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, although it doesn't have the wow factor, but
Yeah.
because it was punctuated well and just straightforward, it was very easy to take in.
Yeah.
This particular poem, I feel like it's trying to be so much, but at the same time, it's not giving it. You know, it's like the pictures you're trying to paint can be a lot, at the same time, although it's not quite there to be a lot, but at the same time, it's a lot. The tenses also, I'm going to be very honest with you. The tenses of this poem, a little bit off-putting. I would
Especially
advise Vicky to,
the second part of the poem.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I would advise Vicky's to, next time, maybe communicate your thoughts well, possibly in a simple state so that it's easier to understand and people can follow through. And also, I know poetry uses like really interesting tenses to communicate, but this is kind of like off-putting. I don't know why. So because of that, I'm going to give you a 6. What about you?
You've said it all because the first part I did enjoy reading because it was easier to assimilate. But this one, I don't know, there's just something, it's not direct, but then it's also not giving what it should be given with what
Hmm.
it was trying to achieve. So that's why if it was just even the first verse or the first part, I feel like she would have been solid
Mm,
if that makes sense. But yeah, I will do a 6 for this for efforts. But yeah,
okay, okay.
so
And
yeah.
also, I should mention, Vicky, is your first line. I think you even got it wrong there. In other aspects, I must endure and learn. Do you mean like other as in OTHER? Because I'm seeing order as in ORDER here. So I'm a little bit sorry about that. I just decided to point that out. Okay, on to the next poem.
There's one that I like, but I'm going to leave it for you. Uh,
Okay.
I think you will take that one because I think you really enjoy it. So, but that one is
Okay.
called It's the Pain. That's the one I'm giving to you. So I would go for um my African parents.
Where is it? I'm looking for it. My African Parents.
It has like
By
leaves, a
yeah,
flower.
found it.
Have you found
Obehi again. Is that?
it?
So sorry, guys. I'm so sorry I murdered your name.
Okay. My African parents. Growing up, growing up, sounds of laughter and joy triggered my parents. The screams of begging and growing gave them satisfaction. I believe I can withstand any form of torture because nothing beats being in a car ride with my African parents. They were unique in their own form, toxic in their own nature, molding and forming the trauma that will later become the essence of my being. Growing up, obedience and respect came from love. Take every command without complaint, or else you'll be met with brutal pain, physically, emotionally, and mentally. They didn't care. They didn't care much about the pain they were inflicting, as long as their soldiers had no voice of their own, as long as their soldiers obeyed every command. Growing up with my African parents was like training in the military, but the problem is I don't remember.
Hmm. Hmm.
What you got to say though?
Well, Obehi, um, I like your poem actually. Please let me shade you a little, right? I'm so sorry I'm doing this. But do you see how simple and communicative this poem is? It's not complicated, it's straight to the point. At the same time, it drives home like the essence of the theme. And that's why I'm going to give this poem a 7. I'm going to give this poem a 7 because it's really nice. And I love the artwork on it also. And of course, the person punctuated well. In fact, I think, well, I can't say yet, but this is probably like the first poem I've read today that is really, really punctuated well. Even more than the first poem, I think, because the break in between the words, it helps to like understand better. It's just so nice. Yeah,
And I did make a lot of mistakes. So I
because
was in you because of that, because I didn't make it. I didn't like find it hard to read it. Okay, but
Mhm.
so I'm going to give this person a 7 as well. I'm going to give this
Oh, no,
person a 7 as well. So yeah, but
nice,
oh,
nice.
really like diverse for you. Almost all the poems we've had like really. Why are African parents this way? It's almost as if everyone had the same experience growing up, and it's crazy and unfair because I don't even know what to say, but I'm so sorry,
To be
guys.
very honest, I think it's because we're talking about African parents. I think it's all parents. We should agree that it's all parents everywhere in the world, but we're just talking about African parents right now. So let's not which hunt our own,
I guess
but they they can be
that,
quite extra.
you know, parents now are trying to do better, properly communicate
Hmm.
with children rather than just like spank or, beat. They're trying to, what's the word? Infuse emotional intelligence, if that's the right word, because I think a lot of didn't have that based off of how they were trained growing up. So
Yes.
it's but it's really a
Hmm.
lot.
I heard something somewhere where somebody said we also have to give grace to our parents because they are also doing life for the first time. Yet they might have been here way earlier than we came around, but they're also doing life for the first time. So they are basically experiencing those situations for the first time with
Understandably,
another.
have a
Yeah,
problem. A large number of them do not admit when they are wrong, right? They
way.
would rather stand on it like, so I'm your parent, and that's why everything I do is correct or is right, and that's why it is a problem because it's okay. So I know that we look up to them, but then it's okay if you mess up and you admit you mess up.
Hmm.
It's But yeah, let's move on. Let's not because we have a long way to go. So
We do. We do have a long way to go. So, do you want me to read this poem you're giving me now, or I should move on first before we come back to it?
please let's really. I don't know. I
Let's
don't know
read
why
it.
I really enjoy it, but
Well, I was waiting for an element of surprise, but so this is from the random writer. I don't know what your real name is, but the random writer, kind of interesting pen name there. So it says beneath the pain. Hmm. Okay, let us do this. Memories. My mom threatened to clip my wings. She wants me to clone Chioma when my shape is unique. Where is the beauty? I was told it was laced beneath the pain. It has become an unsomnable feat to beat, hasn't it? Breaking free from the shackles of disciplinary maliciousness, you dare dream, cast them into your knot pocket. You have to fulfill thy obligations foremost. I think I like this poem already. But then I remember my body shivered from pain, accompanied with red odomatus protrude. English. The clay white plate slipped, shattered from my soapy fingers. It was Dad's favorite. The intentions were pure, but methods poor. I winced and turned in agony with every stroke. If it provoked ecstasy in him, I couldn't tell, but less assured I paid in full. Oh, how they have failed to prioritize my mental health. Should I fault them for their flaws when the world outside is fraught with claws? It's a mere wish, but I fantasize the day I'll be consoled after. It's a mere wish, but I fantasize the day I'll be scolded. I'll be consoled after scoldings and beatings on a platter of gold, maybe even served an extra. On days when pig fly, they reassure their flinched love, trying to win our fragile hearts back with candies, sorry, a trap I gladly fall into. Will our parents ever admit they trained us like soldiers? For they think it's toughening us up for life's battle. Despite the scars of the past, I've transgressed my wound to wisdom. Hmm. Hmm. I see what you're doing here. I see what you mean.
It was when I read it, I let me find my words. I don't know. I just like the flow, the way the
Yeah.
person told the story, and then you went back to give us like you, you painted words to what
Mm.
to like you had of them being what's it called? Like I'm referring to the plate breaking and you getting your ass whipped. I'm sorry, excuse me. I think I'm too excited.
Actually, I,
This-
I understand your excitement because I was blushing while reading because this is a beautiful poem.
yeah.
This is a beautiful poem. And I think I should say this moving forward. So some people make commentaries about our verdict so far on some poems, and they complained about some poems being longer than 14 lines. To start with, a lot of people flouted the 14 lines rule. So we didn't judge anybody by that for the
Mhm.
longest time. And even right now, I don't think we're doing that because we want to make it fair for everyone. So regardless if your poem is within 14 lines or not, we judge you by the content of your
Of
of your
them.
work. Having said that, this poem is long, but the content is great. It is amazing. I love the writer, and I love the writing. Like you said, she painted with words. And that is
Yeah.
something I think every writer should learn to do. It's not just about stringing words together, it's about actually like painting a picture, giving us something to think about. Let our imagination like come alive when we read your work. And this work made me
And
do that. It made my imagination come alive. And I'm going to give this work, hmm, I'm going to give you 8.5.
I'm giving 9. I would have given it 10, but I'm gonna give
You
9.
know, you know what? Looking at the punctuation, I'm going to give you a 9. I will
Yeah,
give you a
because
9.
really good. It's
Yeah.
really good. And well done, the random writer. Well done.
Well done, well done. This is really
Yeah.
good.
I'm
I
glad
hope
I
I
know.
read another poem that is as good as this in this episode. God have mercy.
See, I know. I got you. I got you, baby. I got you.
Okay. So the
Okay,
next
so
one,
yeah, I'll take that one. It's called A Letter to My African Parents.
all right.
And I think I like this style of the poem. But yeah, it goes like this. Dear parents, you speak, I listen to the words that flow from your sacred tongue, not questioning, not judging, not as much as uttering the self-doubt I am feeling. For you are a God among men, a deity that knows best for my life and future years. Dear parents, who have found comfort in the catastrophic arms of tradition, borrowing its voice at every turn, left on a dusty old shelf, and breathing your air of yesteryears, walking in the glorious steps of ancestors past, becoming the professional you want me to be, for a cameraman was not worthy of me. Dear Daddy, trapped in the arms of traditions so wide, I wish to inform you that I am no longer scared of you, dear mommy, the ever pleasing wife. I wish to inform you that I elect to live beyond your husband's view. Um,
Ah,
in your Ag- Agbag Agbagba Johanna. I'm so sorry, guys. But yeah,
Jo-
Joanna,
hmm. Joanna
I
Omoburukuniel. Omoburukuniel. What do you mean by you're not scared of your dad anymore?
we live in of our parents. That's supposed to be a way of life. No,
No, I'm
now.
not
So
saying we should be. I'm not saying we should be, but I can see a hint of rebellion in this poem. Anyways, it's cool. Um,
but then it's
hmm,
necessary. I think it's necessary for every child to go through a what's it called, a form of rebellion. Then maybe you will definitely find your way back, and you would understand why your parents are the way they are, and you'll be more understanding of them and why they do the things that they do, if that makes sense. So I think rebellion is a necessary part of growing up.
hmm.
So yeah.
Actually, I agree with you. I agree with you. Um,
Yeah. What do you say? What do you have to say about this one?
it's a nice poem. It's a nice poem. I'm going to give it an 8.
Yeah, that's really fair because
Mm-hmm.
it's it's well rounded as well. It's not too much, and then it also just you get the gist of what the poem is trying to
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
So punctuations. So yeah, I'll give it 8 as well.
Hmm. Okay.
And then I hope we're not overscoring, and then we'll find more wow factors and firms. But yeah, let's go. Let's go. I'm in.
I'm waiting for somebody to beat that 9. I'm waiting for somebody to beat that 9.
Okay, let's
Okay.
go.
The next
So
poem is called The Rod and the Staff. Okay. The first thing that came to my mind when I saw the rod and the staff, I just have a feeling like you're talking to your parents. I mean, obviously, we're talking about African parents, but I feel like you're calling your parents the rod and the staff. Like not parenting itself in this regard, but your parents in particular. But anyways, let's read. I may be wrong, I may be right. Surviving African parents was a test of my patience. They demanded utmost diligence in every task. My excellence wasn't driven by their expectations, but the fear of the rod that made me stand out from the rest. The sight of it alone could bring tears to my eyes. Oh, what a superpower my parents held high. Mom says, those doing better than you don't have two heads. My efforts have once again gone unnoticed. Things could get so uneasy. So I challenge my mother's opinion and she says nothing. But once her dynamic duo returns, I'm rest assured I'll face the music. For my dad, my opinions were wrong for all he cared. The meds, do medicine, he says, for your future to be secure. His ego could command an army. How high? To the skies. And the price you paid for rebellion? Too sad, your cries. And let's not to forget the times most cherished. The folk
That part.
tales told the lessons most treasured. Despite all the whipping and weeping, they taught me to tread with care and stand tall. I survived the journey, and since then I have been blooming. Interesting.
That's not all bad.
Not all bad. Not all bad. I'm going to call out your bluff here. I don't know who this is because there is no name on the poem itself. I don't know who posted this. Um, when I was
And
reading, I hope you put in a semicolon in there because you meant to like you meant to talk about well, it could work both ways, but you meant to you meant to say your cries were too sad, but then you put a comma in there and it doesn't exactly like explain it further. Although it could pass, but it could be easily misunderstood. You know,
all
let me read those lines so that you understand what I'm saying. Um, his ego could command an army. How I, in the same sentence, right? How I, which could be an exclamation. I mean, it is an exclamation here. But then you continue to the skies, comma, and the price you paid for rebellion, that's a question mark there.
right.
And then you go to another sentence, it says, too sad, your cries.
Mm,
And it's supposed to be, the way I say it, it's supposed to be too sad, semicolon, your cries, because your cries talk about the sadness that you're talking
yeah.
about there. So I feel like you could have done better punctuation in here. And using an exclamation mark mid-sentence, I don't know how that works, especially when the sentence continues. I don't know. I really don't know how that works. But anyways, it's a nice poem. I'm going to give you 7.5.
Okay. I'm gonna do
Yep.
7.
Wow. Amazing. All right. So I guess I was wrong about the rod and staff imagination I had in my head.
Yeah.
But anyways, on to the next poem.
Myself, he didn't. There weren't really a lot of reference to rod and stuff. Anyway,
Yeah,
just the first stands.
true.
Okay. Sorry. Uh. Okay. So surviving African parents. I think. Can you find it? It's like purple and white.
Is this from okay?
Have you seen it?
No name too, right?
Yeah, no name. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Surviving African parents. In my African household, you will learn figures of speech. You will learn not to obey all commands. If you like, put it on your head. Oh, no, if you like, put it on my head. It's
Extremism.
okay. For
Yeah.
perfect way to die, you will learn rhetorical questions. When your father asks if are they the top student owns two heads, you will learn simile when you are asked to be like Ade. Exaggeration is your mother's nag when you don't obey. Obey all, disobey some. It's the cases rule of
Yeah.
survival. Terrible, but anyway. Cook before I return is nothing like if you like, don't cook before I return. One is a command, the other is a threat. In my African home, you'd learn to discern to survive. Here's a tip: whatever looks like free will is a paradox. What you got to say
This is
though?
this is a nice poem.
Mhm.
This is a nice poem. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. So tell us. School,
I don't know who
school
this
me ask.
is. Your name is not here. I wish you put your name here so that we can address you by name when we talk about your poems. Um, you
Oh,
are
let me
the
check.
first. You
Her
are the
name
first
is
person.
Peace.
Sorry, you said what?
Peace.
Peace, right?
Yes.
Okay. You are the first person to um not just punctuate well, but also indent like some phrases or sentences. Like you're quoting your parents here. You said, if you like, put it on my head. And that's indented. I love the fact that you did that. I think you're the first person I'm reading from today who has done that, because I read other poems where they were quoting people, but they did not indent. There was no quotation anywhere. But this is nice. I love the fact that your punctuation is on point. It's like um how do I put it now? You know your punctuations basically, which is really nice. I love it when people know their punctuations. If you want to marry me, just know your punctuations. It's part of the criteria. Thank you. Meanwhile, I don't know if this is a woman or a man, so be warned. So this poem will get an 8.5 from me because it's good, and the punctuation is also on point. And I also love the allusion you did to poetic devices like euphemism, rhetorical questions, simile, exaggeration, and antithesis. Man, it's a tongue twister. And then paradox. Really interesting. I love your work. Well done.
Yeah. I would do 8 for this.
Okay. So we have how many poems left? We have four, right?
Yeah, I think so. I'm not counting though.
Well, I've been stylishly counting because it's a long day. um I have one poem here from somebody called Abija, or is it Abeja? I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I don't know how that's pronounced, but I think well, it's what it is. I'm just going to
Hey,
go with Abija or Abeja. Abija. All right. So
Abidjan.
Abija Warabia Coast. Oh my God. That's a Yoruba idiom. Is it proverb, or what should we call it? I don't know. But anyways, I can't start explaining for you. You won't get it. Or maybe you will get it. I really don't know. Let us go straight to the point. Surviving African parents. Sometimes I hate my parents. Sometimes they are the best thing that happened to me. The best is all they want from me. But the way they portray what they want can be suffocating. Countless times they remind me in cryptic ways how much they love me. But their love chokes me. I see it as a burden. 3 years ago, my 13-year-old self planned to run away from their house. Ironically, here I am, surviving their harsh, kind nature, still in their house. My African mother slapped me. Oh my God, I was not shaken. I didn't feel it. I have been growing into surviving them, into being resilient to their nature. It's what needs to be done best. Now, a young adult, I look back at the experiences with them. I looked at the world around me filled with African parents. Then I saw it all clearly. I saw the deep love behind the facade of their exotic nature. I saw their hearts embedded with value and inspired by endless brewing hope. They mean well after all. African parents are a living heritage, grooming a new set of African parents to prevail.
I like how it went.
Mm-hmm.
At least it's someone. Well, there are a few people that have praised African parents. So yeah, I like how the poem went. So what do you have to
Mm.
say?
Well, interesting. I love the fact that you alluded to your attempts, because that's what it is. Your
Mhm.
attempts to run away from your family. I don't know. I don't know if we all can say we did it at some point, but I can say that I did it at some point. I wanted to run away from my house, but mid journey, I realized that it's not possible. So nobody told me I packed my bags and ran back home. Anyways, I will give you a poem. I will give you a poem a 7.5. I love the fact that it was straight to the point. It was good. You didn't try to do extra, and you were pretty much put together. I'm just wondering why some 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 lines are like separated from one another. But it's good all the same. The poem is nice. I'm going to give you 7.5 for it.
I'm going to 7.5 as well. I really don't have much commentary on the poem, so I'm going to 7.5.
All right.
Yep.
You're
Um.
next.
Okay. This one doesn't have a title, but I think it's from someone called the writer Ori or
Mm.
Ore. I will never be like my mother. I shouted my disgust, raised raised my distaste like a parade flag. I recruited critics on her behalf, wanted it clear, wanted it known that I wouldn't be like the woman who I had unashamedly assumed. Okay, unashamedly assumed had a strong iron fist and a heart of stone. But guess who's belting out commands now? Guess who's nagging, lamenting, doing all she can to keep her little ones safe? But the kids don't care. They won't even look my way. What what have they ever done to protect their mom? So I turned to the monster I'd sworn never to imitate, and in her arms find solace.
Hmm.
What do you what do you say? I okay, so first of all, I'm not a mom. Before I put out this advice, I'm not a mom, although I do have a niece, and I've come to realize that shouting again, it never really works on this. It never works,
Hmm.
right? Come to learn that the way to reach your kids is to actually calmly communicate with them. You are also
Hmm.
teaching them to learn to communicate without throwing tantrums. But as I said, I'm not a mom.
Well,
I'm just, maybe you should try a different approach rather than, screaming and nagging, and just try to be calm with them and try to understand them. Try to see it from where they're coming from. It's crazy and it's difficult, but just try to be in their shoes and then you'll be able to better communicate with them. That's what I found works with my niece anyway. So yeah.
that makes sense. But well, I think I've said it like how many times? Like have you met African kids? African kids can be extra. Well, I feel like to be a great parent, not only do you have to know
Mhm.
what works for your parenting style, you also have to like watch the kids and know the methods by which they learn, know what works for them. There are some kids that need to be shouted at. My shorthand
Yeah,
in
but
this word is that there are some kids that need to be shouted at, and there are some kids that need to be spoken to softly. So sometimes know what the situation requires and do it.
but a large number of times when you shout
Mhm.
at them, even think what they need at that moment is to be, it's because from like one, two, three, right? They learned that if they don't throw tantrums, they won't be heard, they won't be understood. So if you keep, and sometimes they know what they are doing, right? If you keep feeding into tantrums that they are throwing, like you're giving attention to them. So of course they know when they do certain things, you're going to react. So you're basically feeding. I don't want to go into parenting, parenting, because as I said, I'm not a mom, but I just sort of noticed a lot of children and I realized that they actually do know what they're doing. But a lot of parents assume these children are so little that they don't really know what they want or they don't know what they're doing. So just try to understand basically. So you'll be all right at the end of the day. They will
I
survive.
mean,
We
they
just hope not
will.
to traumatize them as much as we easier to be God, I guess. Or yeah.
Yeah. But we should have this conversation again when you have a child. I like to know how you're doing.
And an error of other people's children. So I know for a fact, like what I'm saying, that it is
Hmm.
you just start all of a sudden, right? You start it from when they're very little and try
Yeah.
to speak to them calmly and all these things. They will throw tantrums, yes, but over time they will learn that they don't need to throw tantrums for them to be understood, and that makes your job a bit easier because you don't need to. They will learn to use their words.
Hmm.
So after, when I have a child again, I'll come back soon. I'll come
Okay,
back to
mommy.
have, but yeah. What do you have to say about the right? Because I took us away from that, but what do you have to say
Yeah.
about?
The poem, right? Sorry, I didn't get you.
Yeah, like what do you have to say about the poem? What do you want to score it? What do you think about the punctuations? Yada yada yada.
I think that to start with, moving forward, please, if you're watching this video and you want to participate more in our competitions, please try as much as possible to put your name on your poem. I mean, in the
Mhm.
design, so that we can, refer to you by name when we talk about your poem. Um, to start with, I think that this poem can be better presented. You could have done better with your design.
Okay.
I don't been judging by design, so I'm not judging it by design. I'm just saying like it could look better because this looks very, I don't know, uncomfortable somehow. It makes me feel uncomfortable. But like I said,
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that. I'm just going straight to the poem. The poem is nice, nice, straight to the point, nice. I'm going to give it a 7.
Okay. I'm going to give you a 6.5.
Wow, Zane, when did you become like this? Zane, you used to
Oh,
be the sweetheart, but now you're very, I don't want to say heartless, but
okay.
when
More
did you become
calculate.
like this?
What?
I said, when did you become like this?
I said there's money on the line, so I have to calculate very well. So it goes to the person that deserves it.
Okay. All right. Anyways, so we have 2 more poems to go, and I'm going to read this one from no name. There's no name on it. Anyways, here goes. Surviving African parents. My
Mhm.
parents, to me, are heroes and villains too, for it's hard to explain their love and how it could be cruel to you. You drift between moods with a switch in their hands, and you'd wonder if it were a game they played in their minds. Going from early morning prayers and chores to curfew at the door. With a stern face, she asked, where are you coming from? Remember, no dating till you're told. Keep yourself, you have our honor to uphold. I am a creative who is inspired by the sea. They don't want to hear it. They fail to see. Rather, they impose their career choices on me. They love to compare to cousins near and far. You see how well they're doing? Why can't you be a star? But
Mhm.
despite the stress and constant nagging, there is a certain kind of love that keeps us from sagging. For in their strict and old fashioned ways, we find strength and memories to praise. So here's to us, the survivors so bold. Though we may complain and groan, but deep down we treasure the mode. Hmm.
Hmm.
Interesting. Interesting. What do you think?
Um, I don't know. I'm just thinking about the person's experience, and yeah. But I like it. I
Hmm.
feel if that makes sense. Um, what else? The punctuations, I think that they are solid. You can counter me here because in case the person didn't do it well, but I think that they are solid. And for me, I would do a 6.5.
Why?
Fine, I'll do a 7. I'll do a 7. I'm gonna do a 7. What?
Zane, you really be nicer in life, you know.
I mean, but I didn't like that was being too nice. But I'll do
Mm.
I, solid, but still no wow factor. Um, but yeah, no wow factor for me. It's not. It's just there for me. So yeah.
Mm.
What?
No, it's okay. But just so you guys know, just as a sidebar, there is somebody called Chisom on this call with us. He's one of the team members.
Yeah.
Chisom doesn't like any of you because Chisom is like whispering something to us right now, you know. But you guys know, anytime you see Chisom anywhere, it should be on sites.
Yes.
Um,
That
this
me.
poem is all right. It's all right. I want to talk about punctuation. The punctuation is like 80% tight. I want to mention something quickly. As a writer, I think that when you're done writing, you should read what you've written, possibly send it to your trusted friends or associates and let them also vet for you. There might be some things that you're not seeing that they would see and maybe give feedback on. There's a particular line here that I think could be one line, but I guess it was an oversight where you quote, right? You said, "See how well they're doing." You close the quotation. Why can't you be a star? And it's supposed to be like continued, right? Because I'm like, it's supposed to be just one line, right? So why did you close the quotation and then why can't you star is not also the quotation? So I'm wondering what's going on there. It's probably an oversight, like I said. You probably did not check out that part well. But please, next time, I think you should read through again, if possible, multiple times, so that you're sure what you've written. Because this is a competition. No, it's not small money like that. I mean, it might be chicken change to some of you, but for the case, pretty. Anyways, I'm going to score you a 7.5.
Okay. You
Yeah.
try. You try. So you try. Okay. I
So this is
We
the last
have
poem.
one. What?
This is the last poem.
Yes, from Louise. So it's
Louise, I love.
called What We Need to Survive. There is a saying shared, shared through the voices of our forefathers: spare the rod and spoil the child. Here in this small town of Ojo, my father will always wake me in the light of the day. He summons me to the farm, a place where the damp earth fills my nostrils. Before heading to school, I must plow the fields. Later, I return home to my mother, a woman of simplicity. Her smile, a warm expression that embodies African beauty. She tasks me with washing the dishes, but I long to rush to school. Why must work interpret the happy days of a schoolboy? I clutched my books tightly in my bag, but I recall the sharp crack of my father's skin, the soft yet firm whisper of my mother's voice, warning me that I will go hungry that day. In this warfare of duties, the first rule to survive is to obey without resistance. Thus, I steel myself to my parents' voice. The end.
Hmm.
Why is your face like that?
There is something impressive about Louise. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. I just feel like the angel of God is touching my heart concerning movies. um,
Like
what
it's
movie?
very from what we've been getting, or is it just me?
What do
I
you
don't
say?
know. Like the style, the storytelling style is just a bit different from what we've been getting.
Yes, yes.
So yeah.
To start with, your punctuation is on point. You know, your storytelling is, mwah. And then the picture you painted, it's it's so relatable. It's so relatable. I have a question though. Thus, I steel myself to my parents' voice. What does that mean? That steel, the steel you're talking about here is like double E. So I'm like, I mean, it could be a wordplay you're doing here, but I'm trying to rationalize it because if the king if king is what you're referring to as steal, then it could work as a wordplay, like you're stealing yourself to your parents' voice. That means you're being beaten into your parents' voice, or you're being beaten into obedience. So I don't know if that's what you mean, because if that's what you mean, this is really nice. But I'm just imagining, because this looks very intentional. Steal myself to my parents' voice. It's very impressive. I want to dash you
Ah,
Mark, but I want to be James Bond with my Mark too at the same time.
so I'm going to give this a 7.5.
7.5. I'm going to give it an 8.5.
I figured.
Yeah.
Okay. 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 So I guess that is all of the entries we have for today.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
I feel
Please go.
tempted to an like two finalists from this episode, but I don't think we will do that. You guys will find out. I mean, you can literally just calculate it since you've been listening to us all the while. Just calculate who you think um made the final list. I mean, two people here.
Yeah.
All right, guys, it's been a really, really long episode. We did 11 poems. Thank you for sticking with us till this moment. Do well to follow us on all social media platforms. You already know Creative Cloud Hub. Follow me at Toby A. Daniels _ and Zane.
THE.ZAEN. Say. Mhm. So yeah.
And we have more coming way. By the next episode, you're going to know the finalist and who the winner is. Until next time, he's at.
Bye. Bye. Take care.